Hi, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Spiritual Superpowers. I'm Caron. This is Dawn, and we have another great episode for you today. We've done a few episodes already with Brad Yates, who, if you've seen those episodes, you'll know that he is a specialist when it comes to emotional freedom technique or tapping to release blocks.
Yeah, and today the topic is law of attraction. Because if any of you have ever read The Secret or seen the movie The Secret, there's a lot of experts in there, and Brad Yates has actually worked with a lot of them. And in this episode, we go through how EFT or tapping can, like Caron said, remove blockages, but then also increase the law of attraction so that we can achieve all those goals on our vision board. So we hope you enjoy this episode. One thing, why don't we talk about what emotional freedom technique is, or EFT or tapping, so that people understand what we're talking about.
So tapping, originally known as EFT or emotional freedom techniques, well, it's literally a process of tapping with our fingertips on places around the face and torso primarily. It's based on acupuncture. So for thousands of years in Chinese medicine, they've said there's a flow of energy through the body along these pathways that are called meridians. And when this energy is flowing naturally, we experience our natural state of health and well-being, physically and emotionally. And when we don't have that natural state, that natural flow, when it gets stuck, we don't feel so good. We don't think as clearly. We don't make the best choices. That has all kinds of unfortunate consequences in our lives. So in traditional Chinese medicine, the doctor would stick needles in these key points to stimulate that healthy flow of energy. And we're just doing that with the tapping.
I think that gives people a good idea of what tapping is. So what brought you to hypnotherapy?
The funny thing is I had always been really interested in hypnotherapy, and I had started reading about it when I was in high school, but I'd never been to a hypnotherapist. I'd seen an ad for this hypnotherapy school and thought, that sounds fascinating. I love the power of the mind. Let me do that. And started building a small practice. After a couple of years, when our second child was on the way, I realized that as much as I loved acting, doing personal development work really felt like my calling. It's like, yeah, this is really what I'm here to do. And we left Los Angeles to move to Northern California to be closer to our families. And some other hypnotherapists were talking about this energy work and tapping and all this stuff. So I thought, oh, that sounds cool. Took a training with Gary Craig, the founder of EFT, and was just fascinated by this process.
Now, why Gary Craig? That's who everyone went to at the time?
The tapping as we know it was originated by Dr. Roger Callahan, who called his process thought field therapy. And he, working with a woman with a lifelong water phobia, he was experimenting and learning about acupressure and some other things, and tried to help her relieve the stomach, the knot in her stomach that came up when she thought about water. And he said, oh, well, okay, let's see if we can relieve the stomach pressure. And here, the meeting point for the stomach is right here under the eye. Let's tap there. And not only did the knot in her stomach go away, but the water phobia went away. So he started experimenting with different clients and found that with different patients with different issues, he would tap different points in different sequences. And then one of his first students was Gary Craig, who had his degree in engineering, and thinking like an engineer, said, how do we simplify this? And what if we just tap all of these points in a row rather than trying to spend all this time figuring out which points to tap? So he called his version emotional freedom techniques. So that was the first time I'd heard about tapping, was when people were telling me about this energy psychology conference and this guy, Gary Craig, doing a workshop in his process. You're using the body and the mind at the same time, as opposed to just talk therapy.
And you're talking about a movie too. Tell us about that.
Oh, the tapping solution back in 2008 or 9. So the Ortners, who create the Tapping World Summit every year, it's a big summit where a lot of people are on. Jack Canfield's been on, Gabrielle Bernstein, and then a lot of us who specialize in EFT. Yeah, I got this call from this guy saying, hey, well, we're coming to San Diego to film Jack Canfield. We're making this movie. Would you like to be in it? All right. Yeah. And I get to meet Jack Canfield.
Yeah.
So who later, some years after that, brought me on to to teach EFT at one of his Breakthrough to Success events.
Yes.
Yeah.
And you've worked with other well-known people like Joe Vitale and Bob Proctor, both in The Secret.
Joe Vitale and I is actually just before The Secret came out, and we connected, and he had me come talk on a presentation that he was doing. And I said, hey, what if we created this program together called Money Beyond, well, he came up with the name Money Beyond Belief, because we were both talking about law of attraction in the same way, where before you think about what you want and try to feel really good about it, you got to deal with the parts of you that might not feel so good about it. Otherwise, as you're focusing, you're looking at your vision board and you're consciously saying, I want this, and you're thinking that you're vibrating at a high level, but unconsciously part of you is like, and I'm terrified of having that. We're going to make sure it never happens. And so we're shooting ourselves in the foot without realizing it, without consciously being aware of it. So we're both talking about, well, clearing out those energy blockages and those old beliefs, like money is the root of all evil or whatever it is, so that we're brilliantly stopping ourselves from being evil by limiting how much money we have. And we're not even consciously aware of it. We're sitting there going, why can't I make more money?
Yeah. Yeah.
So we were using different tools for changing our mind about things and created that program. And it was while we were doing the setting the whole program up after we had recorded it, that I'm going to Chicago to be in a film with Jack Canfield. And I was in Bob Proctor's mastermind program at the time. And I went to this conference at Las Vegas that he did with a whole bunch of us. And he said, I want to show you guys something. And he showed the trailer for The Secret, and we were all blown away. And I'm like, I think this is the movie that Joe is talking about.
Yeah.
So I can say, I knew him when I knew him before this.
Yeah. with a lot of the people that I coach, you try and get them to raise their vibration so that they're more of a match, the law of attraction. But if there's a lot of subconscious programming and self-sabotage, tapping, there's I can't think of any other way that would be better to remove those blockages and easier, So, and then that way you're not putting up those blocks. You're well open to receive.
We look at the vision board and we just think we're excited and we're not aware of it. I've done this with so many people where they'll say, I really want to have this goal. I want to have this amount of money, and I've read the books and I've taken the seminars, and it's not happening. And in the process of tapping, it's often like peeling the layers of an onion. So we could be tapping along going, oh, I'm stressed about this report that I have due. All the stress about this report, all the stress. Oh man, it's not even about this report. It's about that book report in the 3rd grade that I failed. And I've been holding on to that for decades.
Right.
And I'm just being reminded about that. And now and what's great about that is I now have the opportunity to clear up something that has been bothering me at a very subtle way. And who knows how many decisions in my life have been based on that upset, where I could have gone this way and went, I'll go this way, simply because of a misunderstanding that happened in the 3rd grade.
Right. Wow. Yeah.
Wow.
Quick, for the folks who have never done tapping before, I'll go through the process really, just the very, very basic version of it. So first we look at what is bothering us, or what might be in our way. So we might say, well, my goal is to make more money. Why am I not doing that? Well, I do have this belief that money is the root of all evil. So I'd rate that on a scale of 0 to 10. How strongly do I believe that that's true? Then we would start by taking the fingertips of our index and middle finger and gently tapping on the opposite hand, on the side of our hand. And we'd say, even though I feel this stress, or even though I believe money is the root of all evil, or whatever the presenting issue is, I choose to love and accept myself. We'd say that 3 times. And that just sort of creates an opening for the healing process to work, because rather than fighting against the issue and trying to pretend that we don't have it, it's like, I have this, it's here, and I love and accept myself anyway. Mm-hmm. And we tap right here at the beginning of the eyebrow. And as we go through these points, it's usually between 5 and 10 times, but it's not an exact science. Don't worry about, I tapped 15 times, it's not going to work. So we would then repeat whatever the phrase was. All this stress, or this belief that money is the root of all evil. Then the side of your eye, right under the middle of your eye, right under your nose, right under your lower lip, above your chin. Right here where the collarbones just about come together is a little U shape at the base of your throat, and you can use all the fingertips or even make a fist, tap right there. then about 4 inches below the armpit. That's right about bra strap level. And I'm sure any guys watching this can probably figure that out too.
Yeah.
And finally, top of the head. So all of your fingertips just tapping around little circles around the crown of your head. And then you take a deep breath and then check again. Okay. Money is the root of all evil. No, that's not true. And in fact, I think I've heard that that's not even what the actual statement is. It's the love of money. It's greed that is the root of all kinds of evil, not the root of all evil. So it's a misinterpretation, and so we lose that emotional connection to that, or we can tell with the stress. Oh, you know what? My shoulders feel a lot more relaxed, and sometimes it'll go from an 8 to a 0 like that, and sometimes it goes from an 8 to a 7.75, but we get more awareness of, oh, here's what's bothering me, and then we can zero in more specifically on what's coming up around that. So that's the very basic version of EFT. And also, I think I may have said this earlier, you can do it without saying anything, especially if you're already in a place of stress.
Yeah.
But it's in those times where we're not, where we may not be so bothered, and we're dealing with something that feels more theoretical, that we want to be targeting it with the language. And so that's, for me, with the intuitive process, is then looking at what else might it be about, and sort of exploring that. Thank you for what you're doing, and thank you for this opportunity to share this work. I know what a profound difference it can make for folks, and so by you giving a platform for people to be introduced to it is awesome. And thank you to everyone who is willing to go through and try this strange looking process, because as you clear away what doesn't belong, you reveal more of the masterpiece that's inside of you, and that benefits the world. So thank you for doing that.
All right.
All right, so we hope you enjoyed that episode and you have a lot of takeaways. I know I do.
Yeah.
I love that he's worked with Joe Vitale and Joe Dispenza and our own Canadian Bob Proctor.
Yeah, and I think another takeaway is that this works, so try it for yourself.
It really does, yeah. So give those points a try. Check out some of Brad's videos on his website that we're linking below. And happy manifesting.
Yeah.
Until we see you again, remember to like,
subscribe,
and
hit that notification bell.
And we'll see you again.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.